Dr. James Buchanan is director of Xavier's Brooklyn Center for Interreligious and Interfaith Dialogue, and their work goes much deeper. He has studied and taught in Paris, Hong Kong, Moscow, Beijing, and Cincinnati, Ohio. He lectures around the world and is published widely on a range of global ethical issues, and he's going to tell you a little bit about our blessing to one another. James.
Thank you, and thanks everyone for being here. I first want to reiterate what Judy said and just thanking some of the people that made this possible. We did this in the fastest time we've ever done it. From the time that I contacted Judy, we put a contract together, getting in here only on August 10th because the galleries weren't open. The crew here, including our site engineer Bob Shelton, who really is our ambassador everywhere we go, and we love working with him, to Judy, who has led the troops here, to Regis and Andy and Lori and the whole staff who has kept it going. And to Mr. Maltz, who is not here with us, but from what I've learned since I've been here, he may be watching us. But I do want to thank everybody for the hard work that goes into doing this. As you will see when you get in there, it's a big undertaking. And they did it brilliantly, they did it easily, and they did it with good humor and good community. And we really value that as much as we do anything else that's connected with this exhibit. As Amy said, tomorrow will be 7 years to the day that this has been on the road. And it has been to 18 venues, 850,000 people. One of the things that you'll see in the exhibit is a replica of the Western Wall, where you'll be invited to place a prayer. We guarantee that those prayers will end up at the Western Wall, and we delivered over 85,000 of those over the last years. And I have another 40 or 50,000 sitting at my center at Xavier. There are a lot of marks of what we consider to be that make us think the exhibit is a success or not a success. We can look at it in terms of numbers, we can look at it in terms of prayers, the fact that it's financially successful. All of those things count, but what really counts is the relationships that we've built all over the country, and that increasingly we're building all over the world. We don't see this exhibit as a spectacle, as something to go in and see. We see it as a tool that comes into a community and begins to help build interfaith relations in those communities. So we hope that if you're Jewish, not only will you be here tonight, but you'll come back and you'll bring a Catholic friend. If you're a Catholic, we hope not only will you come back, but you'll bring a Jewish friend. And we hope all of you will tell everybody that you see and know what you've seen, and that they should come and not only see this exhibit, but see the beautiful permanent exhibit that's here at the malls. The importance of this exhibit rests not in its message about the past, but really about its message about the future. To be sure, we take the visitor on a journey through the past, but ultimately, our hope is that the journey will impact his or her future and the future of the communities in which they live. Blessing in the end is the story of how we deal with the other. Whether that other is the religious other or a racial or ethnic other, we all have our others. In Poland and in Germany and throughout Europe during the 20th century, and even until today, the other for the dominant Christian community and culture was too often the Jews. It was a terrible and frightening history, and we give account of that in this exhibit. But it is also a history of hope. History is written large and small. World War II, the Holocaust, the papacy of John Paul II are large. But it is also written small in the human-to-human relationship exemplified by that of Karol Wojtyła and Jerzy Kluge. The history of hope does not emerge because a pope had a sudden insight or revelation that he should change the relationship between the Catholic Church and the Jewish people that had been written in his past. But it really goes all the way back to his childhood. What he learned as a child is what he did as a pope. I'll say it again. What he learned as a child is what he did as a pope. The message, one of the messages that we think is important for you to take forward from this is we need to teach our children well. We need to put our children into context and communication with their others, so we don't characterize, demonize that other. For Karol Wojtyła and Jerzy Kluger, it was that human-to-human relationship that changed them both, and as a consequence, has changed history. I'm one of the founders of an organization called the Parliament of the World's Religions. It's the largest organization bringing religious leaders together every 5 years. We bring 6,000 to 9,000 people together to see if the religions can work together. We have a very simple mission statement. There will be no peace in the world until there is peace among the religions. And there will be no peace among the religions until there is dialogue among the religions. John Paul II, arguably, has done more for dialogue among the religions than anybody who has ever lived. Not only with the Assisi conferences, but by traveling all over the world, and everywhere he traveled, and with everyone he met, opening his heart and opening his mind and opening the church to authentic dialogue with those others. The responsibility of dialogue with the other falls on each of us. And most importantly, it falls on us to pass this message on through our children. Of all the complex issues with which we are faced today, and these are many and seem to be more every day, this is among the most critical. And more importantly, it is one that each of us, in our families and in our communities, can actually do something about. So many of the problems we're faced with, they're too complex or too large. This is not one that's too complex or too large. All it's a matter of is opening your mind and your homes and your hands to that other that's in your community. Finally, we also need to take seriously this particular moment in the history of the relationship between the Catholic Church and the Jewish people. It is at a critical juncture. We are struggling with many complex and difficult issues right now. What makes this moment even more critical is that the current Pope, Benedict XVI, just as a consequence of history, will be the last Pope who has direct historical memory and experience of the Shoah. It becomes vitally important that we get the relationship between the Catholic Church and the Jewish people on very firm footing if we're going to move into a productive history. If we are to rise to John Paul II's challenge that we, Christians and Jews, must be a blessing unto the world, but first we must be a blessing to one another, we must put this relationship between the church and the Jewish people on foundations that not only create a new future for that relationship, but exemplifies the relationships that all religions must have with all other religions. Our hope is that a blessing to one another might play some small role in helping to foster relationships of solidarity between Christians and Jews, and in realizing a new and better future for ourselves, and especially for our children. We are very excited and pleased to be able to bring the message of blessing to Cleveland, and again, our deep appreciation for all the people that have been involved with this. Thank you for being here.